you enjoy Stasis Warlocks and you enjoy Felwinters Helm, this build you're going to absolutely love it. Felwinters Helm gets used on all different types of subclasses, but Stasis Warlocks is by far the strongest build to run for Felwinters Helm, so stay tuned, I'm going to break it all down. But just before we get into the Felwinters Helm, I just want to sort of touch on how good Stasis Warlocks are for unstoppable champions, because all of the Stasis Shatter effects apply to unstoppable champions, so you're going to be able to unstop these at will. For example, we've got a Curl Snap Grenade. Now pay attention here, because it's not actually the Curl Snap Grenade that is going to do the unstoppable, it's when you shoot that is going to shatter. That is what's causing the unstop. So Curl Snap Grenade is a really good solid option. Another aspect on the Warlock is a Frost Pulse. Whenever you cast your rift, that generates a shockwave that freezes nearby combatants, and that is the same thing. It's not the freeze, but you freeze them, shoot, and that shatter effect is going to unstop. So we've got that, the Glacier Grenade, and on top of that we have also got Penumbral Blast Melee, which does exactly the same, freezes, shatter, and you've literally got these unstoppables in the palm of your hands. You can do what you want with them if you can mix them all together. Curl Snap Grenade, Frost Pulse, Melee, you've got literally 3 ways of dealing damage to these unstoppable champions, just stopping them in the tracks like so. And we can even add certain weapons. I've been running Conditional Finality because this has got Stasis and Solar Pellets. The Stasis is going to freeze, but there is other options in there, things like Aegir Scepter and Cryosphasia, the sidearm, the Stasis sidearm. These are also really good options. But as you can see here, I've got multiple different ways of sorting these unstoppable champions out, and it really is like child's play. And on top of that, these are just unstoppable champions. This will work against any major as well. Now, Felwinters Helm, we've got all that going on, and we're actually going to bang Felwinters Helm on here because this makes this build absolutely crazy. Powered melee final blows create a burst of energy that weakens nearby targets. That's a 30% damage debuff, so you get a 30% damage increase. Finishes and final blows against more powerful targets increase the radius and the burst and the length of the weakening effect. So if you finish a champion or a high major or something like that, the radius is absolutely crazy. Look at that, it's got a really large radius, and the 30% debuff is similar to, well, it's exactly the same as Tractor Cannon. Actually, Tractor Cannon is 30%, and we all know how good Tractor Cannon is. So just having that 30% debuff at that range is absolutely nuts. And not only that, it does actually suppress them as well, so they don't really bother you while they're suppressed. So this is a sort of loop of play. Get a freeze, don't have to be unstoppable, could be anything. Get in there, get them finishable, pop your finisher, and then you're going to apply that 30% debuff to everything else. So the freezing capabilities on the Felwinters Helm absolutely work perfectly together. Now, a really good fragment to run is Whisper of Chains, because we are getting up close and personal with the enemies via Felwinters Helm to finish. This is perfect because while you're on near frozen targets or friendly stasis crystals, you're going to take reduced damage from the targets. So Whisper of Chains really enables us to get up close, like I mentioned with Felwinters Helm. Obviously we need to be up close and personal to get them finishers, and Whisper of Chains is a really good fragment. On top of that, I run a finisher mod called Proximity Ward. Gain a powerful overshield whenever you perform a finisher. This one is absolutely crucial for this build as well. You'll see it proccing just on the screen when I do the finishes there. So we've got extra resist, safe finishers, debuffing effects, loads of freezing stuff going on. And once you've got it all procced and you've had a little play with it and you get used to the loop, this is the type of things you can do with it. Just debuffing these enemies like crazy, stopping them in the tracks, and you make a lot of things in the game very easy. A lot like child's play, you are literally manipulating enemies. Now another little thing that I like to run with this one to take advantage of even more slowing and freezing effects is aspect, as well as Frost Pulse. I like to run Ice Flare Bolts. So all these little seeking projectiles that you do, that procs every time you shatter a frozen target, that's going to spawn seekers that track and freeze other nearby targets. This is absolutely perfect for this build because again, you're just slowing everything down and just taking advantage of all your resist, your freezing effects, everything else that you've seen, plus your Felwinters Helm finisher and whatever weapons you choose to run. and you've just literally chained them debuffing effects from the Felwinters like so. Freeze, debuff, extra resist, and you are pretty tanky on top of that as well. And then if you notice there, the super actually causes unstoppable damage as well. So there's another way for warlocks to cause unstoppable damage like so. And then also, like I just said as well, once you've got it down, you can chain this debuffing effect to enemies like so. Look at the state of that. These are just going down so easy. And like I said, once you've got used to the loop, the little loop of play, you can really take advantage of this build in all different types of situations. I've used it in GMs, Master, Lost Sectors. And then the other thing that I haven't mentioned yet, it does really help your teammates out as well. If you're confident enough to get up close like so, getting that 5% debuff for you and your teammates with various different weapons like retrofit or certain linears in the game, it really does make a big difference. And not only that, just actually slowing the sort of play, if you like, where if you might be getting rushed and you get a finisher on an enemy, you're going to get a nice overshield, and you're going to apply that dizzy effect as well, as suppression as well as the debuff, and it just slows the sort of play down as well. So it's super helpful for you and your teammates. And then I just want to sort of stress as well, you will get used to this build if you use it for a little bit. And what I really like about this build is how aggressive you can play with this build as a Stasis Warlock. Now usually you sort of see your Warlocks sitting back throwing your freezy turrets down. I don't run any of that. I really enjoy how aggressive you can be with this build. You will get confidence with the build as well. The more you use it, the more you get used to the resist, the freezing effects and the debuff, you could really be aggressive with it. Now what I want to do is show you a way how to cheese the frost pulse. So every time you cast your rift, you're going to freeze something, but I know a way how to get instant sort of class ability back, or large chunks of it, with Whisper of Refraction. Defeating slowed off frozen combatants grants you class ability. Obviously the frost pulse is from your class ability. Just look at that. Kill a few of them enemies and you're going to get large chunks back. Now you're not going to get it back every single time, but like getting chunks back is absolutely massive. Some other weapons that really work well on this build is like things like Cryosphasia, the Stasis Sidearm, things like Aegis Scepter. So we have got different options, but if you have Conditional Finality, that is an absolute beast for this build, but them two work absolutely fine. I'm going to leave everything playing out, but I just wanted to sort of touch on my legs with regards to weapon surges. You can build into different various weapon surges, Solar Void Arc, whatever you want to run, or you can go the other way and run ability regen mods like Absolution, things like that, or even Insulation to get class ability cooldowns, or even Innovation for your grenades. So you can build this two ways. I personally go with the ability regen because I'm taking advantage of the 30% debuff from Felwinters, so I don't feel I really need the damage, but you can do if you wish. It's just a little option for you. Now the predominant ways that I use to get armor charges and create orbs is, one of them is this one, Empowered Finish. Finish your final blows, grant you 1 temporary armor charge. You're going to be using a lot of finishes on this build. And then with Proximity Ward and Felwinters Helm, this one's an obvious one. And then we're going to be using our class ability loads, so Reaper and Empowered Finish. They're the two ways to get our armor charges and orbs. And then obviously we just match our helmet mods to whatever weapons you're running, so Void, Kinetic, Solar, even Strand. So that's the video. I hope you found this helpful. Like I said, I will leave everything out playing out and a dim link. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.